And now I'm live with my first guest for today, Brandon Turbeville, writer of For the Activist Post. How you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing all right. What about yourself?
Pretty good, man. It's the weather's looking all right out here in Houston. Not too many crazy-looking things in the sky, so I'm enjoying that, and I'm enjoying the fact that we're going to get into a conversation that I haven't really spent much time on my show. It's something that I've read about personally, but haven't really explored on the show, so I'm excited to do this. We're going to be talking about an article that you wrote dealing with HAARP. So before we get into that, could you please give everybody catch people up who haven't heard about the high-frequency active auroral research program and what it is?
Yeah, that's it's kind of hard to explain exactly what it is because it's not ever been fully explained, adequately to us. So essentially, the HAARP program, that's HAARP, it's a series of antennas, and basically they can beam electromagnetic frequencies into the ionosphere, heat up the ionosphere. It's pretty clear. You could say the science is out as to whether or not they can control the weather with this type of thing, but it seems to me that there's plenty of evidence that they can indeed control weather patterns and create natural disasters with this technology. It's a little bit out in the nether regions there when you try to prove whether or not it's actually doing that. But there are these stations that are located all over the world, right? There's one in Alaska, which is the one I'll be mentioning here when we talk about this article, and there's one in I know there's one in Russia. To be honest, I am not an expert on HAARP. I should qualify anything that I say with that, but it seems to be getting more and more attention, especially with some of the questionable natural disasters and some of the coincidences surrounding them. But it's one of those things I can't call it either way, but it's definitely something to pay attention to. It's certainly capable of some unbelievable things, hence the plasma cloud creation situation.
Yeah, there's been books written about it. For those of you who are listening who haven't checked it out, look into a book called Angels Don't Play This HAARP to find some more information and do your own research into exactly what HAARP is supposed to be for and what others are proposing and speculating that it might be doing, like Brandon said, actually altering the weather in a number of different ways. So let's get into the article itself and what you found here.
Yeah, well, what this is, the article is entitled U.S. Naval Research Laboratory Confirms HAARP's Ability to Manipulate Atmosphere, right? And this actually came from the U.S. Naval Research Laboratory. And the HAARP station, which is located in Gakona, Alaska, the Plasma Physics Division of that HAARP station, and apparently the Space Use and Plasma section of that HAARP station as well, recently announced publicly that they had created a plasma cloud in the Earth's upper atmosphere. To be honest, I was not even sure what a plasma cloud was, so I had to go look into that. And that is essentially it's a conglomeration, a gathering of electrically charged particles that have to do with the solar winds, right? It has connection to the Van Allen belts. And also it's affected when they have coronal mass injections and solar flares and so forth. These things interact in that way. Again, I'm not an expert on it, so I hesitate to say too much about it. But this particular plasma cloud that was created lasted for an hour, and they mentioned in the press release that it lasted a lot longer than all the others because all the others lasted only 10 minutes. And that begs the question, well, what others? We've been creating plasma clouds in the upper atmosphere for how long? But the plasma cloud that was announced, again, it lasted an hour, and it only ended when the HAARP beam ended. So theoretically, it's possible that this plasma cloud could have gone on indefinitely if they chose to do so, but they killed it after 1 hour. Now, the official line on the reason behind the creation of this plasma cloud from the NRL, the Naval Research Laboratory, is that it would be able to they're testing whether or not this type of technology can reflect high-frequency radar signals and communications and that sort of thing. And that's really along the official lines of what HAARP is for. That's the explanation that we get anyway, that it can disrupt communications, or that it can kind of, using the natural world, encrypt communications in times of war. So that's the official line of it anyway. This experiment was undertaken with the help of some other institutions, and one of them is SRI International, and that's, of course, is a major defense contractor, and it has a specialty for Earth and space research. It's been involved in various different things. I think the website, the direct quote is that it helps examine the fundamental processes governing the upper atmosphere and space. But again, it's a defense contractor. So you have, of course, DARPA is involved, the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, and they have a program called Basic Research on Ionospheric Characteristics and Effects. That's BRIOCHE, brioche, I guess, is the name of the project. And that is the project that was operating when they created this plasma cloud. We also have BAE Systems. That's a British, it's a multinational company, but it's a defense contractor. And interestingly enough, they are in the midst of negotiating a merger with European Aeronautic Defense and Space Company, INVIT. It's EADS. And if that merger goes through, they will be the largest defense contractor in the world, and that would be bigger than Lockheed Martin, bigger than Northrop Grumman, bigger than Boeing. It would be the biggest one in the world. So for something that's supposedly benign, it has a lot of connections to defense contracts. These are defense projects. These are warfare projects. So whatever HAARP is involved with, it has something to do with warfare. And the question then is, war against who? And I think that's a good question. Remember, we signed treaties with under the United Nations not to use weather weapons in times of war against other nations. But it didn't say anything about using them on your own population. And it seems to me that this might be what HAARP is being used for.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to get into in the next segment. If you've got time for another segment, we're about to cut to a break. If you've got a few more minutes, I want to explore some of these ideas further. We're talking about weather warfare, and I've had other guests on here, such as Michael Murphy, who's behind the Why in the World and What in the World They Spraying, dealing with the geoengineering issue. And in their films and in his interview, he discussed the possibility of the connection between the HAARP program around the world. And I think that's an interesting aspect of it, because, like you said at the beginning, you're sort of qualifying this, that technically we really don't know what it's for, because they say it's for this, but they haven't been very forthcoming on what exactly is going on. And it, of course, has led to many theories about what's taking place there.
Yeah, and there's a lot of different aspects to it as well. And I actually have another article out on HAARP that maybe we can mention on the other side.
That would be great. We're going to cut to a break real quick. You're listening to The Conscious Resistance. I'm talking with Brandon Turbeville, the activist post, talking HAARP. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.